Ignition. Liftoff.
Coming to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Good morning, Houston. Thank you for joining us here at the Realty Ruckus, right out of the White Picket Realty Studios. I'm so excited to be back. I missed last episode on Tuesday, and I watched a little bit all the way from Nashville. And hopefully, if you guys were watching, or if you guys are on my Facebook page, you got a chance to see that I was hanging out with one of the masters himself, Dave Ramsey. Do you guys know who Dave Ramsey is? Have you guys read any of his books or done any research? BB, have you done anything? What do you think about Dave Ramsey? Is he a pretty good guy for you? So before the show, BB told me not to ask him any questions.
Random questions.
Not to ask him any random questions. So my goal for today's show is to ask him as many random questions as I possibly can. So you guys look out for it if you're watching. This is my way of seeing how many random questions I can ask BB before he blows up on me.
Or I can just turn your mic off and then you won't be on the show anymore. Yeah.
Let's not go that route. Anyway, I got a chance to hang out and actually have breakfast with this guy, man. And you know, when you read his books, it's cool because you're reading his book and he talks about financial freedom and he gives you the steps. He gives you like these baby steps.
He's a very smart guy.
Yeah, he gives you these baby steps on how to get out of debt. And that's and like his whole focus is to show you how poorly, 95% of America lives. Simply because we've been taught from birth almost that debt is a good thing. And
I wouldn't say that we've been taught debt is a good thing. We've just been taught that debt is the way of life.
It's necessary.
That it's a necessary evil. And you know what's funny about that? That's very much an American thing.
Yeah, it is.
Like United States, because you go to Latin America, they don't even understand debt.
Yeah.
They didn't start getting credit until like the late 80s and early 90s over there. So for them, this is just a funny story, but the other day a friend of mine went to go refinance her car.
Yeah.
And she's from Nicaragua. And when they handed her the paperwork for her refinance, she looked at it and it said, "This is your loan amount and you will pay this much in loan in interest. This was the interest, right?"
Yeah. And she
was like, "Oh my God, they're going to charge me $2,000 to finance." And she was really upset about it. But it was because they don't understand interest or
Imagine
financing.
when foreign people now see the CD,
the
disclosure, the closing disclosure, and it actually shows them the truth and lending disclosure, and at the end it shows them how much they're actually paying for their house, 30 years later.
Yeah,
and it's this incredible, crazy amount that has nothing to do for what they purchased it for.
Because what $100,000 house is going to have like $140,000 in interest over 30 years.
It's insane. It at least doubles what you're paying for the house. So they don't realize what that is. Anyway, the whole point of going and sitting down with a guy like Dave Ramsey and his team, like Chris Hogan.
He's my favorite, actually.
Chris Hogan is awesome.
Chris Hogan is my favorite from that team, man.
Awesome guy.
That guy's incredible.
Tell me more about Chris Hogan.
Well, we got a chance to have like a mastermind session with him. And we
you did? That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. We thought there was going to be a ton of people there, but there were so many classes, there were so many little breakouts that the mastermind session was only maybe 10 or 15 brokers. And
wow, that's awesome.
And yeah, we got a chance to sit there and just be like, hey, man, what are some of the things that you've implemented in your business to help push and motivate and inspire? And that was the whole thing. It was like, well, it's not just about pushing and pushing. It's saying, hey, I'm up here. Come up here with me. How can I help you? How can I help you come here to this level? And what are some ways that you can inspire your team to do that? So, I came back, man. I came back pumped. I don't know if you guys can tell or not.
No.
I am pumped. I'm excited to just live life to the fullest. I'm implementing all sorts of great ideas that I picked up over there, in the team. We're getting ready to have a family, what do we call it? Family picnic. We're going to do a monthly family picnic. We're going to put that out for our team. We're going to let them invite their family to come over. We're going to work on continuing to build our culture. We have all of these other awesome ideas that just because of a quick little impromptu random weekend, imagine how many changes that'll bring to the company. So yeah, you're darn right. I'm excited. And in my excitement, what did I do? I decided to set up a trip or a bike ride to go ride CM. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, come on, let's go do something fun. We got to go out and go do some bike riding. Let's go do some critical mass riding and stuff, And like a couple of people on Facebook were like, yeah, man, come on, let's go. And I had a couple people, ready to meet me over there. And then the wife calls me and she's like, hey, let me have a little chat with you here.
It's one of those calls, huh?
Hey, one of those that starts like that. You're always in trouble when
I've heard your wife talk. She does not sound like that.
Hey, that was my impression. If she hears this show, she's gonna kill me when I get home.
Oh, you're gonna get home and she's gonna go, hey.
Yeah. So we're are we out of time? Oh man, we're out of
There's
time.
some on the other side of the break.
I'll keep telling you guys the story when we get back.
Yeah.
We have a phenomenal show lined up for you guys. Stay tuned. It's gonna be an awesome one.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217. Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join at teamwpr.com. JOIN at teamwpr.com.
Hey Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, david@houseflippingnetwork.com. That's david@houseflippingnetwork.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. Again, that's at Realty Ruckus. Again, you can also find us on Facebook and YouTube, as well as comment below and we can answer your questions live. But for right now, David, how's the weather out there today, and how's it going to be this weekend?
It's beautiful, guys. Finally.
Yes, he's never said that. And this is our 30-something episode.
Yeah.
And he's never just said that.
This is the first time we've ever had beautiful weather.
I like it.
Well, it was a little chilly when we woke up this morning, which actually felt good. So the highs are going to be in the mid-80s throughout the weekend and lows in the mid-60s. So perfect weather for now. Enjoy it, guys.
Lows in the mid-60s.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Finally.
Yep.
Finally, fall is here and winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
I see pumpkin spice lattes and Ugg boots on the horizon.
Yes.
Very quickly coming.
I'm so excited. I get a chance to wear coats during the winter, and actually, it's one of my favorite.
Are you a winter clothes person?
I really am.
Me too, man. During
really
the
am.
winter time, like during the regular year, I can wear the same thing every single day. Like if I could just wear scrubs every day to work, I probably would.
Yeah.
But during the winter time, I love wearing sweaters. I love wearing scarves and beanies and headgear.
And I have all of that. Like I can't wait for it to get cold so I can like throw on a good blazer on and you know it's
that's
just
so
feels
funny.
good. But you know what's crazy? I've met a couple people who live in some of the northern states and are cold all the time, and they get depressed after a little while. Like they after a little while the cold does get you. So I know I for sure couldn't live in a cold state.
Oh yeah,
You know?
they get like cabin fever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I can appreciate that we have, a couple months worth of cold weather. I enjoy it, and then I'm ready for some warm weather again and some blazing 110-degree heat in the summer. So anyway, let's get back to what I was telling you guys about because I want to finish telling you guys the story. Otherwise, I know my wife will definitely kill me when I get home. So I wanted to
so far all we have is hey.
Yeah. So she calls me. And she's like, "Hey, we gotta have a talk." and she's like, "Look, we got to get to this school function. You've already planned critical mass. You got a bunch of people going with you, this, that, and the other." And I'm like, I totally forgot about the school function. I feel so bad.
But what is the school function?
What is the school function about? And she's like, "It's marriage counseling." And she's like, "That's why we're going there, because you forget these things." But anyway, it's kind of cool because this school does this for the parents. Like,
I think that's amazing.
like every couple months, they'll set up like a 1 or 2 day gig where you can go there and just talk about like how to improve your marriage. They give you tips and whatnot. So I'm really excited to go to that. And unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to critical mass with you guys. So for the viewers out there, I won't get out.
Yeah, you're disappointed.
I won't get a chance to go out there and ride my bike. I am somewhat disappointed, but I will be working on my marriage. So there's a plus side to that. And hopefully I don't get that call again from my wife where she goes, "Hey."
She might after the show.
Anyway, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what's happening with the market and I mean, I hate to be like, a Debbie Downer or whatnot, or a negative Nancy, or actually somebody yesterday
Negative
was,
Ned.
Somebody yesterday
It's
was like,
negative
it's
Ned.
negative Ned,
And-
all right? Because there's a male version of this.
And it's David Downer.
Oh, okay.
And negative Ned.
There, I got it. Thank you. So we noticed, we were doing some research, and we noticed that the unemployment rate in Houston is up to how much now?
5.8%.
5.8%.
Yeah, it's really high.
All right.
We're number
Now,
6 in the country.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say next is we're getting up there with some of the top states on unemployment.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the Houston market is concerned, what are we seeing out there? What are some of the things that are happening out there? I know that we've read a couple articles that are saying some pretty scary things.
Well, the main thing that's been affecting us for quite a while now is the oil slump.
Yeah.
And we all knew it was, we were in this downturn. It was going to hurt us a little bit. I don't think we kind of foresaw exactly how much it was going to hurt us. But we even talked in an earlier episode. We kind of did some foreshadowing. I think we called it the Doomsday episode or something like that.
We have been talking about what's going to happen in the market for several episodes. And, unfortunately, we've had to foreshadow some doomsday scenarios. But I want everybody to know out there, if you're watching this show and you're thinking, "Oh crap, my business is going to fail," or "Oh crap, I'm an investor, I'm never going to be able to buy and sell a house again," we're not giving you that idea, or we're not trying to push that idea to you. The idea is that if you understand what's going to happen in the next couple of months, maybe even couple of years if we're lucky, you can prepare ahead of time for that.
Yeah.
You can start working on what will work.
Yeah, start positioning yourself.
Start repositioning yourself ahead of time and be ahead of the curve. So the last downturn, and here's the thing, in the last downturn that happened in the United States, but the way that it affected Houston, I got a chance to really see the inner workings of that. Unfortunately, I was too young of a realtor, too new. This started happening in 2006. I started working in real estate in 2006. So
yeah, you were right at the beginning of
everything.
everything.
I came into the market as it was literally collapsing. I saw when I came into real estate, I saw a handful of months of people making ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, there was loan officers that had no business in the industry driving around in Maseratis. I'm not kidding you.
Oh, I believe it.
I'm not kidding you. These are people that couldn't spell foreclosure, and yet they were driving around in Maseratis with the misspelled foreclosure, as a license plate. I mean, it was insane, like what I saw people doing. But what happens is at the crash of that market, those people cease to exist, right?
Yeah.
They didn't prepare. They thought that the market was going to continue to be the same way it's always been. They never thought ahead. So the market changes. All of a sudden, they have no business. They have nothing they can do, and they're out of jobs. Essentially, they have to go back to selling cars or whatever it is they were doing previously, right?
Yeah.
So the people that did make it, that's what I was interested in finding out. I wanted to see who did go through that.
Yeah.
What were they doing? And I got to tell you, I saw a couple of my own personal investors, people that I was working with, because at that point I was really more of a buyer's agent. I was helping people find investment property. I saw people come out of that market as millionaires. And I mean that. I mean,
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean millionaires, all right? And all they did was position themselves perfectly at the time of that decline to understand what was going to happen next. So that's what I guess that's the reason why we keep bringing this up is, listen, things keep happening. We see more red flags. We see it happening. We see it coming. Are you positioning yourself in a scenario where when it does happen, your business will survive and you've invested yourself in the right way so that you can come out as a millionaire?
Yeah, and I say we actually have an article with some of the analysis that's kind of foreshadowing what's going on with the Houston market, so we can talk about that on the other side of the break.
Awesome. We're going to drop that article down here in just a minute. But if you guys have any questions, let us know. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217. Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join at teamwpr.com. JOIN at teamwpr.com.
Hey Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, david@houseflippingnetwork.com. That's david@houseflippingnetwork.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also comment on Facebook and YouTube if you want to have any questions that you want answered live on the show. Right now we're talking about an article that was put out by the John Burns Research Institute that talks about how Houston is actually in a really, really bad phase of its market. They break it down into 5 phases essentially. 1, 2, and 3 are kind of, or 1 and 2 are kind of building phases.
Yeah.
3 is a phase of essentially prosperity.
Well, let's talk about that. If you remember, what was the reason? If you think about it, what was the reason we started getting into building, into actually trying to build houses? Why? Because building was strong a few years back. People were taking a lot, tearing down the house and rebuilding, or subdividing it into 2 and putting 2 houses, sometimes more, on there.
And how long ago do you say that was?
That was only a couple years ago when
Yeah.
when banks were still out there readily willing to lend money to builders, people who were trying to build homes, who were out there trying to do that.
And that's kind of lines up with the chart that this consulting group put out. It's a research group And phase 3, it states that the construction's getting high. There's a lot of construction going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says capital flows freely, which is true. When the markets are in those good positions, it's easy to get a loan.
Yeah.
It's easy to go to any community bank and say, I want to do a construction project. Let me deposit 10% of my loan with you, and you get the loan.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But we're unfortunately phased out of that. We're on to the next phase in Houston.
Here's what happened. If you think about it, a few months back, this was not long ago, maybe like 2-3 months back, we ran into a phenomenal deal in Bel Air. We wanted to tear that house down and put a brand new house on there. And we went to the same banks we normally do, spoke to the same people we normally do, and everyone was like, nope, not today. It's too scary, the market's too volatile, there's too much risk. So then it takes us into what, phase 4?
Yeah.
All right.
So you're saying a year or two ago, those same banks were letting the money flow freely, construction was high. That's definitely phase 3. And so what you're telling me now, it kind of lines up with what they're saying Houston is at, which is phase 4.
Yeah.
Which it says smart money in full de-risking mode.
Yeah, people don't want to risk their money anymore, and we're seeing that all across the board. It's not just in the investment side of it. Think about it. How many of you out there, listeners, have had a house that's an FHA or a conventional that doesn't appraise?
Yep.
I can't think of the number of times I've spoken to a realtor recently or to an investor who says, dang it, I put that house on the market. I got $30K over asking price, but it didn't appraise, and now they're trying to beat me down on my price.
Yep.
And we're seeing that over and over and over. And I get it. They say that the appraisers are independent and that they don't work for the banks, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, we see it that appraisals, when money flows freely, appraisals flow freely.
That's right.
And when the money's tight, those appraisals start getting real tight on the other end also.
That's absolutely right. And if you think about it, what's happened to us in all of our FHA transactions in the last just 2 or 3 months?
I don't think we've had any FHA transaction actually appraised.
No, there's always an appraisal issue. In fact, the reason why we started requiring appraisals to be done up front was because of that. Because almost everyone towards the end, once they were ordering the appraisal, was coming back with an appraisal that was way off, and now we're having to renegotiate, go back to the seller, or if it was one of our investment transactions, have to take a big old hit before putting it back out on the market. So that's still happening. We see it more and more. Then again, let's get back to some of the other red flags where money is not flowing freely anymore. You can't just go out there and get a loan.
No, you can't.
Everyone's a little bit more uptight about what they're gonna be able to do. And full de-risking mode even comes down to like big giant companies like Blackstone, who are now thinking, hey, it's time to start maybe liquidating some of our inventory, not just purchasing.
Oh yeah. They cut back on purchasing. I think about 8 months ago is when they started scaling back on purchasing, and they started going into full liquidation.
Yep, and they're not the only one.
No. They just happen to be the biggest one.
There's a ton of hedge funds right now, and you guys, mark my words, you guys will start seeing some of this inventory start flowing out into Houston. You'll see it more and more in the next year. It's gonna come out slowly at first, and then if the market gets any worse, then we'll see a big burst of it.
Well, the other thing that people are predicting is another round of foreclosures coming in about February, because that's the point where people that have now been out of work for about a year start hitting that tipping point of I can't afford my mortgage anymore.
Gotcha. Their savings are starting to dry up.
Exactly. So they say that most people that are financially stable carry about a year's worth of savings. They can hold them over until basically it all hits the fan, and then now I'm out of savings. I have no job. I can't find a job. And guys, I can't tell you the number of people that I know that got laid off. And we're talking about people with master's degrees and doctorate degrees in chemical engineering and drilling. To come,
right?
Oh yeah, there's more. I mean, they just moved another campus away from Energy Center or Energy Corridor, and they shut it down. It was like 80,000 square feet, and they're moving to like a 20,000 square foot campus. They're talking about another 1,200 layoffs. We've had layoffs just constantly, time after time after time. Unemployment's up to 5.8%.
Yeah,
guys, the economy may look like it's doing okay visually, but it's a front. I mean, we're we're on a bubble and it's going to burst.
It's going to burst real soon. And I think that's what the point of this conversation is. Well, what happens when you know the bubble is going to burst? That's it. We've already told you. You can't say that we didn't warn you.
Yeah, don't say that you didn't hear it
Don't
on this
say
show.
you didn't hear it on this show and didn't do anything about it. No, because I'll be the first one to call you out on that and say, hey, remember when I told you this was going to happen? You didn't do anything about it. So what can you do to save your business now and prepare for that downturn? Because it's a downturn doesn't mean you won't be incredibly wealthy. It just means you have to prepare for the downturn now.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with just foresight and being able to go back and look at history, man. History has a way of just repeating itself. And look at what those successful people did back in 2006. Granted, it may not be to the scale of 2006. That was a global economic catastrophe.
Yeah.
But it could still be half of that, half as bad, you know?
Yeah, we won't see it in the same scale. That's absolutely true. Now, some markets are getting hit worse than others, as well as some price ranges worse than others.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of funny when I was at the event this weekend. A lot of people asked me, "Well, why are you getting more into retail real estate versus the investments that you've always done?" The couple people that knew me, and that was one of the things I said. Well, I've been working in high-end investment real estate for the last 10 or so years.
Yeah.
Right. But what's happening right now, I've never seen before, where the product that I put out there that I like to work on is selling much slower than it's ever sold before. Well, why? Think about that. Because my buyer is out of work. My buyer doesn't have the ability to purchase that property right now. So it's taking a whole lot longer for me to find a buyer. So we're working on a shift on preparing for who is going to be the buyer. And here's the thing. I know you guys asked me not to say this word on the radio, but the reality is that our new buyer that's going to be buying here in the next couple of years are millennials. Those are the people that are going to come in and want to buy their first home. So understanding what they want to buy, what their price range is, where they want to buy, all those things, those are key factors for you repositioning yourself and understanding how to sell to them so that you can capitalize on the market that will be buying, for sure. That's my opinion. I don't know if you guys have a different one.
Oh, no, I think that it has a lot to do with that. And it all has to do with don't think that you can just keep riding the ship the same way.
Yeah.
And when you hit those waves, you're going to crash. I mean, you got to find a way to steer around. And like you said, we shifted away from doing a ton of investments because of the volatility in the market right now. And that's why we went more towards some retail. And that's what other people have to look at is say, what can be more stable for me in this economy, in this situation, and that I can be good at until it comes back and I can get back to what I really like to do.
Well, and here's the thing, and this may lead me into our next subject. Here's the thing. Realtors always freak out when the market slows down. Realtors always do. And there's always like this scare. Okay, the market's slowing down. That means my transactions are going to slow down. That means I'm going to make less money. That means I'm not going to make it. That means they get into that freak out mode. But the truth is, in real estate, no matter what, no matter how the market is, there's always someone selling and there's always someone buying. And you understanding who that buyer and seller is and simply moving in that direction, repositioning, retargeting yourself, means you're still going to be set up for success, right? Now, here's the thing. There are those scenarios and there are those realtors that may not make it. And I'll tell you guys who probably won't make it. And if you're one of those realtors out there, I do apologize in advance enough if I hurt your feelings. But the truth is this. If you're the guy out there that's going out there and putting out an ad and you're charging, I don't know, what do most discount realtors charge nowadays? $100 or $1,000 or a 1% fee to list a house? If you're that guy, you may not make it. That's the truth. Because the guys that will make it through a downturn market, the realtors that will make it through a downturn market, are the guys that are going to go above and beyond in terms of value. Bringing value, bringing the ability to do something that others can't. Perfect story on that is what happened to me recently at that Rosenberg listing presentation that I went to. I don't know if you guys remember that one or not, but I got a referral from, and now when I go to listing presentations, it's usually because I get a referral from someone, so I'll go out there and meet with them and talk to them. So I went out, I met with the guy, super nice guy. we talked about everything. We go through our listing presentation packet. I close the transaction. He's ready to go. And as soon as I sent him the paperwork later in the afternoon, he said, hey, I had another meeting with another realtor. I think I'm going to go with them. Very rare for that to happen for me, right? So I'm like, well, what was it? Tell me where I missed the mark so I can be better next time. I always try to get that feedback.
Which is important.
Yeah, and he's like, well, it wasn't you. It was just the fact that this other person's doing it for so much less, which means it's going to put a whole lot more money in my pocket. And I'm like, okay, I can understand that. Tell me about what kind of deal they gave you. What made it so attractive that you couldn't resist? Well, it turns out this other realtor, actually with a big name brokerage, which I know I can't throw it out in the show, right?
I don't care.
You don't care? All right. Well, maybe I will throw it out. It was a Keller Williams realtor, and they went out and said, "Hey, I'm going to list your house for 1%," right? And I was charging a whole lot more than that. I'm actually a little bit more expensive than your typical realtor. If you're using our services, because we're going so far above and beyond, we're a little bit more expensive. So of course, he was like, look, I'm going to give this person a shot for 30 to 45 days and see what happens. What happened after those 30 to 45 days? You guys remember that voicemail that I sent you guys? I sent it to the group. It was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I made a huge mistake. This person listed my house. Not a single person has come in here. There hasn't been a single open house. There hasn't been any offers, and now I feel like I made such an error, and I've wasted 45 days of my life. And I have a feeling that when you become that discount realtor, that discount service in this industry, especially in a market that may slow down a little bit, you aren't able to provide a good enough service because you're not making enough money to really help that person. So, we got those a while ago. We got a couple of ads a while ago. I don't know if you guys saw it back there. It was one of our agents brought it in, and they're like, hey, this person just sent out this ad to the neighborhood or whatever, and it says I can list your house for 1 or 2%, and he was like, how am I supposed to compete with that? And the answer is value. It's you're not ever going to compete on pricing. You're always going to compete on value and what you bring to the table. And anyway, I think if realtors are going to survive that market, I think it's make sure that you are bringing the right value to the table. But as an investor, if you're asking me what am I going to do, I'm already thinking of how I'm going to reposition myself to acquire as much depressed real estate as possible. Find what's taking the biggest hit, figure out if I can cash flow it or at least make it break even, and acquire. Because I'm not kidding when I tell you that I saw people do that in the last downturn, and people came out millionaires. So it can be done. These guys aren't any smarter than
we know
any of us. So we can all do it. Everyone can do it. Anyway, we got to take a quick break. I'm getting yelled at over here. But when we get back, we want to continue our conversation on how we're going to push through. We're also going to talk about all the awesome events that we have coming up. We have some amazing events to talk to you guys about. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service and an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217. Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join@teamwpr.com. join@teamwpr.com.
Hey Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, David at houseflippingnetwork.com. That's David at houseflippingnetwork.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube. And if you comment, we can answer your questions live on the air. Again, if you comment on Facebook and YouTube or tweet us, we can answer your questions live on the air.
All right, so we were just having a quick conversation on what's going to happen, what stage we're at in terms of the downturn of the market, where we're going, how long it's going to take there. Truth is that everyone can guesstimate, but if someone tells you exactly how long it'll take to get there, they have to probably have a crystal ball, which we don't, and that means we don't know, and nobody out there really does know. How far it'll go, no one knows. The fact is you do have to be prepared, and part of being prepared for this kind of stuff is understanding what things you have to be doing to prepare yourself tax-wise, tax shelter-wise, what things you have to know, what things you don't have to know. So here's a question for you. Let me know what you guys think. So Trump is in the hot seat because he won't release his tax statements,
returns.
his tax returns, right? Like everybody wants to see his tax returns. Why? Because everybody fears that he's not paying enough taxes or any taxes at all in this case, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what the case is? That's what everybody's worried about. Here's the deal. If he's not paying any taxes or very little taxes, right? Is it illegal? Because I know that he gets audited all the time. I mean, heck, we just went through an audit. So we know that audits happen regardless.
Yeah, and well, you know, if you talk to a CPA, and they'll tell you, like, and even during like our audit, they pointed out, like, well, you know, these are things that were red flags, and these are reasons why you were randomly selected.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Well, how can you be randomly selected from red flags? But if he's getting audited every year, like he says, there's red flags in there, which means that he probably has really, really high gross income, and then doesn't show a lot of net income at the end of the year. And so that's probably why he's getting audited every year. That's my biggest guess.
Yeah.
And he even said it because at one point during the debate, Hillary called him out and said, well, you probably didn't pay your fair share of taxes, and that's why you don't want to release your tax returns. And you know what he responded? He said, yeah, well, that makes me smart. And that was like a big, like, everyone, and again, on this show, we don't make political affiliations. We don't side with one side or the other.
The truth is, guys, I'm going to be running for president this year. I'm voting for myself. And if you guys would like to vote for me, I've already asked my office staff to go ahead and write my name in. Now, I know I may not qualify because I wasn't born here, but I figured, hey, neither was Obama, so if he can be president, I can be president too, right?
And just for the record, everybody, Alan is not a birther. He doesn't actually believe that.
I am putting my name down this year when I go to vote. I got to tell you that because I'm not affiliating with either candidate. I think they're both the worst of the worst options. But regardless, let's talk about the tax situation.
Yeah. So Trump says, well, that makes me smart. And a lot of people said, well, no, that makes you an a-hole who doesn't contribute and do their part. And here is my opinion on it, and you guys are happy to chime in, give me your opinion on it. But in a way, that does make Trump smart. Why? Because he's not breaking any rules. He's not breaking any laws. And I'm really tired of people using the term, he's using all these loopholes, right? No, he's working through the rules and laws that were given to him and using them to the best of his advantage.
Yeah.
And that's something that we should all be doing.
Absolutely.
Not just the richest of the rich who have the knowledge. We should all be trying to find the ways, how can we shelter ourselves the best way possible? And the idea that, oh, well, I'm middle class and I make a W-2 income, so there's no way for me to shelter my taxes. That's what the system wants you to believe.
That's right.
That you're just believing what they want you to.
They're taking your money because you're too ignorant to go out and find ways to shelter.
100%, yeah.
Right.
And I mean, it's not hard to get out there Hey, everyone that I know that's got a W-2 job more than likely has a 401k.
Yeah.
Right? And what do they do with that 401k? They let it sit there and they let it collect 3 or 4% interest per year. And sometimes they take loans against themselves and they do all this other stuff that is the mainstream ways of doing it. And then they get upset whenever they're like, well, I don't get any tax advantages for my W-2 income. Well, did you really try?
No.
Did you really go out there and find the knowledge that you need to figure out what's the best way for me to position myself as a W-2 employee to be able to pay less in taxes?
Well, not even just as a W-2 employee, but I see what you're saying, because those are the people that generally don't feel they have a lot of tax advantages.
Yeah, because everyone thinks that tax advantages are just deductions.
Yeah.
And it's not about deductions. It's about how the income is coming in and where you're putting that income and how you're making that money work for itself.
Right.
And you have to start looking at things like the education, the Cloverdale education.
Cloverdale education.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got to pay for your
Phenomenal.
internet, I believe.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
you can pay for your internet with
If
that.
you have kids who are using that internet for their schoolwork, then I'm pretty sure you can pay your internet bill out of that.
Oh, yeah,
account.
absolutely. You can pay for school uniforms. You can pay for books, for education, anything that they need for school. Guess what? All those little school trips and things like
Yep.
that.
The
You can pay for
supplies.
all of
There's
that.
so much that you spend
And
money on.
normally that is stuff that you pay out of your ordinary income. But if you create those education accounts, you don't pay taxes on that anymore.
Yep.
You're still spending the money, but it's sheltered.
That's right. By the way, this is totally random. I know that Quest is one of our sponsors, but that's probably the best place in town, Quest IRA, for you to go
Hands
out there
down.
and start
Oh,
one of these educational
Hands down.
funds. You can literally start one with, I want to say it's like $1,000 for your first deposit.
I think less.
Is it less?
I think it's way less.
No, I think they'll let you do like $20 just
Yeah.
to open an
Oh,
account.
that's right. Yeah, that's right, for the
Yeah.
educational one.
To get it
And
started.
so I mean, you can literally go out there and have this thing set up, and that already is just one avenue for sheltering your income and reducing your taxable income.
Oh, big time. And over at Quest, this is one thing, like you can go to Fidelity, you can go to what's the other, the John Hancock or any of those. But the biggest difference is that Quest, they're there to educate you and to help you find the best way.
Yeah,
They don't have their own agenda. They don't care about what investments you invest in. They don't make money off of
Nate's
that.
gonna love this episode. We weren't even planning on talking about Quest all this much, but yeah, that's one place you can go to. And
They have
guys,
lots of educational events too.
That's the thing, is being educated.
Absolutely.
And I read a quote over the weekend. So you guys know. I mean, I dove deep this weekend. If I wasn't literally in a class, I was reading. I was writing in my little action journal that you guys made fun of yesterday.
No, I said I liked
we
it.
liked it.
Oh, okay, good.
I pull out my action journal right now.
Good. Yeah, man. Let's get some action journals going on in this place, because that's the only way to develop new ideas. There you go. Look at
Got
that.
two of them.
Nice.
I love these things.
So one of the things that I learned, or that I really wanted to develop on, was that finding is there for those who search.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, if you're not out there searching, for the answers, if you're not out there working on becoming better, personally self-developing, you're never going to be better. You're actually just going to be worse.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. And for example, I'm not trying to criticize people who sit at home and watch TV all day, but by sitting at home and watching TV all day, no one's ever gonna pop out on the TV on an episode and be like, in the middle of Narcos, like,
Yeah.
hey, did you open up that IRA account this
Yeah.
weekend?
Yeah.
Like, that's just not gonna happen.
not gonna happen.
You have to want to go out there and find that information. And it doesn't make you a cheat. It doesn't make you a burden on society. It just makes you a person who's well educated and understands the system.
So I got a little tip that I can give realtors, loan officers, even investors out there, that I know that a lot of our fan base, the viewers that see our show are in the industry. So in case you didn't know, there is an IRA, a self-directed IRA account that is for self-employed people. And you can deposit upwards of $50,000 a year into that account.
I think it's like 53,000.
$53,000
Versus was it like a 5,500 or something like that?
Yeah,
Maximum
the
contribution.
normal contribution is so much lower.
Very limited.
Yeah. So if you open up one of these accounts, imagine you're already sheltering $53,000 of your income per year into this IRA, which then you can take and invest into what you know best, which should be real estate.
Yeah, and most of those, well, depending on what type that you have, it depends if you have a Roth or not. But a lot of those IRA accounts, only the initial deposit is what you pay taxes on, and then all of the income that you make through that account goes in there tax free.
Yes.
So now you have income going into that retirement account that you can, once you get to retirement age, you can withdraw without any penalties and not paying any more taxes on it. You paid on them one time when you made that deposit to put the money in.
Yeah, and the thing is, to get back to the subject, whether Trump is wrong or not, it's irrelevant. It's the fact that he's using the laws that are in place to help himself.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone should be doing. You're not here just to pay taxes. Yeah, everyone should.
Yeah.
Everyone should contribute, but your job is also to figure out where the law allows you to not have to, and that is smart of you to do. It would be. I mean, look, we all get our PhDs in DUMB all the time. That just happens. Figure that out. Figure that. What was that?
Did I just get it?
I think I just earned
It happens.
mine.
It happens to the best of us. But the thing is, we have to find ways to continuously grow, and finding these little answers is key to that. Little things like having these IRAs in place, tremendously helpful for everyone's income. If you're not working on depositing into that from every transaction that you're doing, you're working the opposite direction against yourself, because when you get to be about that 60, 65-year-old age, look what's happening with realtors right now. 66% of realtors are over 55 years of age. Think about that. Most of those people have made $50,000 or less per year. Most of them.
Yep.
Very few of them will make a six-figure income. Very, very few of them. Very few realtors in real estate make a full six-figure income.
Yeah, that's
right?
very true.
And then like 1% of that make like multiple six-figure incomes, just tons and tons of money.
Sounds a lot like a microcosm of the country.
That's generally how it works.
What it is.
That's generally how it works, which tells you that about 90-something% of those people will actually retire here in the next 5 years without a retirement plan. They will retire entirely broke.
Yeah.
You know what really surprised me was when we had the Realtors Retire Rich event, which we have one coming up too, right? We're going to talk about that here in just a second. When we had the Realtors Retire Rich event, there was approximately 100 realtors in that room, and we were talking to them about setting up these IRA accounts and how they can start working on their retirement. And when we said, how many houses will you guys retire with? How many of you guys own a house? Well, everybody raised their hand. Everybody's real proud, right? Yeah, I own a house. How many of you guys own a rental house? And it was like
a third, maybe.
Yeah.
And
how many of you guys own two? And it was literally like 5 people.
Well, what really blew me away was in that class when they said, how many of you have set up your assets to help protect it from taxes?
Yeah.
And I think maybe like 2 or 3 people in that whole room raise their hand.
Yeah.
And that shows you it's real easy to sit at home. What do they call it? The Monday morning quarterback?
Yeah.
It's real easy to sit at home and be like, God, Trump is so crappy and he doesn't pay any taxes and I have to pay so much in taxes. It's real easy to be that guy and complain from the couch. But if you're not out there trying to make yourself better and trying to get those tax advantages, you're the one hurting yourself.
So I've unfriended like 10 people this week, just because I am sick of going through like the Facebook wall and seeing all of the complaints on Trump or Hillary or this, that, and the other. Like, if all you do is sit there and complain about how crappy things are and how bad the situation is, but you haven't even, registered to vote, and you're not going to go out there and vote for me, then, you don't even have to be my friend. You know what I mean? Like,
You're just making things more crappy by
you really are. Just sitting
about
there and complaining doesn't help anything.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's one of those situations that it's so easy to just complain, and the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, I ask this to every single Hillary supporter out there who's saying, Donald, release your tax returns. How many of you have actually even looked at Hillary's tax return?
Yeah.
You know?
No, how about this? Let me see your tax returns. Let me see what you're doing with your money. I mean, if you're so worried about someone else's tax returns, let me see, where you're at, and we can talk about how silly the mistakes that you're making, because we all do.
Yeah.
Because all of us should be out there working on figuring out ways to shelter.
I agree.
That's plain and simple. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. I know that's the cue for me to shut up. And when we get back, we want to talk to you guys a little bit about all of the awesome events we have coming up. Guys, we have amazing events happening. We're getting ready to release our next year's...
amazing events.
The most amazing event. Little hands.
I have events, and they're the most amazing events.
You guys, we're going to talk to you guys about all of our amazing events when we get back. Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217. Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join at teamwpr.com. JOIN at teamwpr.com.
Hey Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, david@houseflippingnetwork.com. That's david@houseflippingnetwork.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. You can always live tweet us at Realty Ruckus and catch us on Facebook and YouTube. If you answer, if you put on some questions on Facebook and YouTube, we will answer them live on the air. And we want to go ahead and jump in. This is our last segment, guys.
Oh man, you know what? It's crazy how fast this show goes, and we never get a chance to really talk about everything we want to talk about. But that's not to worry, because we have 2 more next week to be able to cover all of the questions that you guys may or may not have, and we want to cover a lot about what happened in our VA classes here. But first off, we want to play a video that we think is hilarious for you. If you guys are on the YouTube live feed, take a look at this video.
You'll be able to listen to the
We
audio.
want you guys to tell us what you think of this guy. Is he genius or not?
So it's a comedian actually, but people fell in love with the song. That's what blows my mind. I hadn't heard it till the other day. It turns out it's like it's gone viral already.
Yeah, it's the trend. It's
Like,
the new trend.
it's a
Check
new
this
trend.
guy out.
This guy's the new. This is so ridiculous.
I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple
Pen.
I have a pen. I have pineapple. Pineapple pen. Apple pen.
Pineapple pen.
Pen pineapple apple pen.
If you're watching this out there and don't understand what's so funny, just watch it 2 or 3 times and
Yeah.
let it sink in, and you'll understand why we're having so much fun
Google
with this thing.
pen, pineapple, apple
Yeah.
pen. It will make your day.
It really will.
It's funny how the simplest things can go so far and go viral. You know? And
If you're having a bad day,
Yeah.
If you're frowning right now, just go ahead, stop listening to the show.
Yeah.
Come right back on afterwards. But
Yeah.
for 50 seconds, go watch
watch
Pen,
Pen, Pineapple,
Apple,
Pen.
Apple.
And
You'll feel a
you'll
lot
have
better.
a phenomenal rest of the day and even better weekend. So we have some awesome events. We talked about our awesome, the most
We have amazing
amazing
events.
events that are out there. I can't wait to release our 2017 calendar, you guys. We're working on it as we speak, and when we release it, you guys are going to be blown away because we are going all out in 2017 in terms of bringing value to the real estate market. So our goal next year is to bring value to your businesses, and I'm telling you right now that you are going to be in for a treat. But for now, let's talk about what we do have coming up in 2016. We're already talking about 2017. Isn't that crazy?
All right, we're ready.
Yeah, I know. Where are we at for the next couple weeks or a couple of events?
Well, here in about a week and a half, I think it's October 11th. We're gonna have our last White Picket Happy Hour of 2016. So it's gonna be a big one, guys. Come out, celebrate with us, have a good time, come network. It's over 200 real estate professionals, realtors, investors, lenders.
Yeah, we actually wanted to get a vote from the audience on this one.
So it
We're-
was suggested to us by Lisa, our marketing rep at Texas American Title, patent law firm, that we make this a deal where people dress up.
Yeah, or can dress up if they want to.
Or come in costume.
Come in costume, yeah.
So if you guys think that we should make this last happy hour
A costume party.
a costume party, go ahead and give us like a thumbs up or just drop a comment below. Yes for the costume party. If we can get 5 yeses for the costume party, I think we'll move forward for the costume party.
Yeah,
that
that
sounds
sounds
good.
about right.
We can get about five comments below that says yes, let's do a costume party. Then we'll all dress up for sure because we're already working on getting our costumes for this
Yeah,
for this
my
year.
costume's pretty badass.
Yeah. What are you getting?
I don't know if I'm-
Is it a surprise?
We're doing an office theme one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I can't
Yeah.
wait! I can't wait.
Well, for sure, I'll be out in force at one of the events later on in the month. But I know I got my costume in. I don't know where you guys are with your
All
costumes.
I have to say for you guys is winter is coming. That's all I have to say. If you know what that means, you will know what we're going to be this year. So you guys are in for a treat on that for sure. All right, so October 11th, you guys let us know if you guys are going to do a costume party. If you want to make it a costume party, then we'll send out a new invite letting everybody know to bring their costume. Maybe we'll do like a costume contest or something,
yeah.
and we'll
Yeah,
give
why
away a
not?
prize for the best real estate costume there. And we'll
Yeah.
make it a real estate costume, something that has to be related to to that, or I don't know, whatever
I don't
you
know
want.
how that's gonna
No,
happen.
Yeah,
I think we should just
everybody
do-
have to wear like a little house or something. you know,
I'll
like
be a contract.
cardboard house, a contract. Anyway, all
what are
right.
you? I'm a Trek contract.
All right, so we have that October 11th. You guys
Yeah.
make sure to register for that because we do need a head count, and we want to make sure that we have enough food, beer, and
Yeah, exactly.
everything else that we provide for everyone that shows up. Bring your friends, as long as they're in real estate. Leave your negative Nancy friends at home, please, but bring all of your positive friends, people that are interested in networking and growing their business, because that's what that event is all about. There is no sales happening. There's nothing being pushed on you. The only
Nope.
thing we want is for you to grow your business through networking, and we want to provide the environment, the drinks, and the food. I think that's fair enough.
That's pretty fair. The taps will be a-flowing.
Yeah, and
That's
they
a good
definitely
time.
are.
And you can actually register for that event at whitepickethappyhour.eventbrite.com. Let me spell out Eventbrite because it's recently brought to my attention. Not everyone knows how to spell Eventbrite because it's not like
It's
the
not
word
bright.
bright.
It's not bright.
So it's whitepickethappyhour.eventbrite.com.
Yeah, and we'll drop it down below to you guys. We'll drop it in the comments so you guys can see it. Register for the event and make sure you come out. If you're going to bring a friend, make sure you put it on there that it's you plus one or however many. It doesn't matter to us. We just want to make sure that we have a good head count for making sure that everything's done well. So, all right, we have that event coming up. We just had our VA class, which, by the way, was phenomenal.
Yep.
Everybody loved it. We streamed a little bit of it. Unfortunately, I couldn't stream myself talking, but we talked a little bit about how to get set up, where to go to get set up.
Yeah, what specific websites to go to.
What specific website? Guys, I hate it when I go to a free event because this was a free event for realtors. We did charge for people that were not in real estate. But for realtors, it was free. I hate going to an event where they're like, yeah, you can do this and you can do that. You can get a VA and your VA can do all of this, and that. And you're like, all right, well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
If you want more information, it's going to be $5,000.
Yeah.
Pet peeve. This class was awesome because at the end of the class, Richard Smith and I gave you websites to go to, what to ask, what to say, what to look for, how to track.
Yeah, specific tools and resources
Specific
for that.
tools and resources for tracking their time, for figuring out if they're not working on what you asked them to, all of the things that you need to literally have a VA do the work for you. So that was a great class. If you missed it, make sure you stay tuned for the next one. We are going to replay this class.
Yeah, we'll do it. I think we're going to do it at least once a quarter next year.
We won't do it this year again, but you guys stay tuned for our upcoming classes, and we'll let you guys know when we're doing it again. All right, what other events do we have? We're running out of time.
So the typical other real estate events are usually hosted through the month. As soon as I get confirmed for dates on those, you actually can check them out on our Houston Real Estate Events page. But other than that, we do know that the Quest IRA Fright Night is coming up October 27th, with details to follow again on that Houston Real Estate Events page. And I think after that, like a week after, NAREP is having a happy hour.
NAREP is having what we call an appy hour. Without the H, it's actually APP-Y. And the whole idea behind this is to teach everyone out there what apps we're using to stay productive. And here's the thing. How many apps are out in the App Store right now? Thousands and thousands and thousands. And you can search through all of them, but you can never figure out which ones work, which ones don't. So we're just going to bring you guys the ones that we use, the ones that work best. We're going to talk all about that, give you guys that information. It's a free event for members. So make sure that if you're not a member of NAREP, make sure you start looking into it, start registering, and we'll get you guys information on that as well down below. Is there any other events that we gotta discuss?
Not as of now. So just check out the Houston Real Estate Events Facebook page at Houston Real Estate Events.
That's all you got to do. If you're on Facebook, type it up the top. You'll see it there. You want to make sure that you click like so that as any new events develop, it actually shows up on your feed.
Yep.
Isn't that how that works?
That's correct.
Maybe we'll put out a little video or something on that to show people how to do that, because for some reason it never shows on mine. And I know it's very difficult to get them unless you literally click like and then actually tell it that you want to see all the posts from that feed first.
Yeah.
So you got to tell it that. Anyway, we've had a phenomenal show today, guys. It's been great. I feel great to be back. I've had a couple of days off, but it's been awesome. I'm pumped. We're going to have a great quarter this year. We're going to have an even better 2017. And we want you guys to stay tuned and join us for all of the success that we're experiencing, and also experience some yourself. Till then, we'll see you next Tuesday, 10 a.m. See you then.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.